Hello folks, I'm Ronald Mehta and welcome back to Digit.com. We are your digital aid and we provide free courses on the subject of business and marketing. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on brand building along with live examples and case studies. Let's start with the first one.
In this video, we are going to cover the topic on 4 steps of brand building. Let's start with the introduction. The model has different names. Apart from being called 4 steps of brand building, it is also called as the customer-based brand equity model, or steps to brand building or brand building blocks, or the brand resonance model. Moving forward, consider building a brand as constructing a building. The building can only stand strong if the foundation is strong. The foundation of a brand is nothing but these building blocks that we are going to look at. All the steps are equally essential for successfully achieving the objectives. Moving forward, the stages of brand development. As mentioned earlier, to provide some structure, let us think of establishing 6 brand building blocks with customers that we can assemble in a pyramid. Most strong brands are built by going up both the sides of the pyramid. Now this model, originally called as 4 steps of brand building, includes 4 stages, and corresponding to the 4 stages there are certain blocks which finally make it to the 6 blocks. So every question has certain blocks in front of it. Let's see how. The first question, who are you? That means identity. And the corresponding block is salience. Next, what are you? Which means meaning. The corresponding blocks are performance and imagery. In the third stage, response means what about you? Are the judgment and feelings of the consumer towards the brand. And fourth, finally, is what about you and me, as in the relationship with the brand, and the corresponding block is resonance. Hence, on the left, there are 4 questions, which are nothing but 4 steps of brand building, and in the pyramid, if you see, there are 6 blocks. Hence, the model is also called as 6 brand building blocks. So going forward, we will address each step as well as the corresponding block. Let's start with the first one. Who are you? Brand identity, which means salience. Brand identity means creating a brand that stands out from the clutter in the minds of the consumers. Proper brand identity involves making the brand have a good recall value under different conditions. The consumers must quickly be able to remember and link the brand's name, logo and symbol. Example, the logo of Apple, the name Coca-Cola and McDonald's M signature. Next, step 2, what are you? Brand meaning, and the corresponding block is performance. Brand performance means how efficient a brand is in satisfying consumers' needs in the most efficient way. 5 important types of properties that often underline brand performance are: first, the primary ingredients and supplementary features. Example, Burger King's secret sauce. Next, product reliability, durability and serviceability. Companies doing this well are Nike and Dell. Third, service effectiveness, efficiency and empathy. In this case, 2 service companies, Singapore Airlines and Marriott Hotels. Fourth, style and design also come under performance. So in this case, it's the iPhone and Victoria's Secret. And when it comes to price, either you go with Walmart, which is everyday low pricing, or you look at Apple for premium pricing. Now in the same step, what are you brand meaning, the other block is imagery. Moving forward, making the consumers form imagery association with the brand, either from their own memory or through advertising, is called as brand imagery. There are 4 types of imagery. Let's look at the first one, user imagery. Brand imagery associations that are about the type of person or organization who use it. For instance, Gillette razors and Old Spice have very masculine association, whereas Bobbi Brown and Whisper are feminine association. Moving on to the other imagery association, that is purchase and usage imagery. The second set of associations suggest consumers the conditions or situations under which they can use the brand. Example, Gatorade, which is consumed during sports, and Decathlon for only outdoor activities and indoor adventure activities. Moving forward to the third imagery of brand personalities and values. Consumer experience and marketing practices link the brand to human personality traits. The 5 dimensions of these personalities are sincerity, the example could be Microsoft. Next, competence for Google, ruggedness, Jeep, excitement, the brand Tinder, and when it comes to sophistication, Mercedes-Benz. And the final imagery association is brand history, heritage and experiences. Brands that take on association that link to their past remarkable events in the brand's history fall under this type. For example, KFC's logo is Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC. Now moving on to step 3, what about you, brand response, and the block is judgment. Customers' personal opinions form brand judgments or response. Consumers may make a variety of judgments with respect to a brand, but these 4 types are especially important. First, about quality. Matching product performance with customer expectation is brand quality, and Dull and Under Armour seem to top the list. Next is brand credibility. The extent to which customers see the brand is credible, trustworthy, likable, and judge its level of expertise is called brand credibility. Example, Google. Third, brand consideration. Until customers register the brand as relevant and convenient, the brand will not likely be embraced. In this case, Uber and Starbucks are part of daily lives of customers, and thus they've topped the list in brand consideration. Next, the superiority of the brand. Superiority is the extent to which buyers view the brand as different and unique than others. Example, Apple and Samsung. Moving on to the next block under step 3, feelings. Customers' emotional responses and reactions to the brand make the brand response. The response could be a sense of mild or intense feelings. It could also be positive or negative in nature. Here are the 6 important types of brand building feelings. First, warmth. That is evoking a soothing type of feeling that make customers feel a sense of calm or peacefulness. Example, iPhone. Next, fun. Exciting type of feelings make the customers feel happy, cheerful, merry, and so on. Examples in this case, McDonald's, Disney, and Xbox. Third, excitement. Makes the customer feel hyped and energized, giving a sense of special feeling. Example, Durex, Tinder, Instagram, Las Vegas, or Miami. Moving further, security. The brand ensures a feeling of comfort, security, and confidence, such as Singapore Airlines and Volvo. Next, social approval. Consumers have a belief that others look positively on their appearance, behavior, and so on after the use of their product. Example, wearing a Rolex watch or driving in a Tesla. And finally, the feeling of self-respect. The brand boosts consumers' self-esteem and makes them feel a sense of satisfaction, accomplishment, or fulfillment. Example, Oxford University, Harley-Davidson, and the Macallan. These 6 feelings are divided into 2 widespread categories, where the first 3 types of feelings are experiential and immediate, increasing in level of intensity. The latter 3 types are private and long-lasting. Finally, step number 4, what about you and me? Relationship, and the final block, resonance. Brand resonance is a degree to which consumers believe that they can connect with the brand and are in sync with it. Brand resonance can be further broken into 4 categories. First, behavioral loyalty. It can be interpreted on the basis of repeat purchases and the amount of share volume associated with the brand. Example in this case is the usage of Walmart on a regular basis and the consumption of TikTok. Next, attitudinal attachment. A strong personal attachment is one of the 4 types of feelings here. Example in this case is the attachment with Starbucks and Apple products. Third, sense of community. This goes one step further than the previous 2 points. Brands that take on a broader meaning in the minds of the customer by creating a sense of community. A strong sense of community among loyal users can generate favorable brand positions and intentions. Example, the Xbox ambassadors. And finally, active engagement. The last category is when the consumers have the strongest affirmation of being brand loyalty, which is depicted when they are willing to invest time, energy, money, or other resources in the brand. For example, Harley-Davidson's owners group known as HOG. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on 4 steps of brand building. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video.
In this video, we are going to cover the topic on brand storytelling. Let's start with the introduction. The united narrative that entwines together the facts and emotion that a brand evokes is called brand storytelling. Storytelling helps consumers make an emotional and personal connection with the brand. It also helps in empathizing with your audience by telling your customer's story. In recent times, companies have ventured into storytelling with branded content to help create strong connections with their customers. Let's look at the importance of storytelling. Great storytelling is a part of brand marketing because it allows customers to get personal with the brand's personality and values. If through storytelling, a marketer can promote a company's authenticity, it will make customers trust the company and develop a bond that is sure to be long-lasting. Other than giving customers reasons to buy the product or service, businesses need to share their real-life stories like why it exists, why it matters, and what is dear to them across all communications. Now let's look at elements for a successful brand storytelling. The few elements for marketers to consider while compiling a successful brand narrative are: first, create a storyline. Second, show how the product or service can improve the consumer's life. Third, establish an emotional connection. Fourth, using data to support the narrative.
Fifth, making it resonate. And finally, leverage social media. Now let's look at each one of them briefly, starting with creating a storyline. Every brand narrative needs a captivating storyline. This helps in setting the stage for the consumers to learn about the brand's history, values, and what makes the brand unique. Next, show how the product or service can improve the consumer's life. The change not necessarily needs to be a huge change, it needs to be an improvement of some calibration. Next, establishing an emotional connection. The brand that manages to make a positive impact on the emotions of the audience through its narrative can be called a successful brand narrative. Number 4. Using data to support the narrative. It helps when the brand's message and story is backed by data from trustworthy sources. Data can also be used to tell the actual story, like how the company has grown over the past year, how the consumers have reacted and interacted with the company. Example, your streaming trends from 2010 to 2019 are revealed in Spotify Wrapped 2019. Next, make it resonate. For the story to be memorable and reverberate with the consumers for days and years to come is the ultimate goal for every storyline. Example, Dove. Dove called out the difference between how women look and how they feel in its viral video which promoted the Real Beauty campaign. Next, leverage social media. Now brands have it easier than ever to get their message out to the public through a variety of mediums due to the growth of social media. Now let's look at some examples, starting with Airbnb's campaign, Until We All Belong. In 2017, Airbnb's Until We All Belong campaign supported marriage equality in Australia. Airbnb, as a part of the campaign, created the acceptance ring designed by Mark Newson and called on Australians to show their acceptance of marriage equality by wearing the ring. This ring featured a tiny gap which represented the gap in marriage equality. They were in such high demand that Airbnb had to limit them to 2 per person and share the stories of Australians fighting for marriage equality. The campaign asked people to commit to wearing the ring until same-sex marriage was recognized in Australia. Next up is the Apple campaign, Apple at Work, the Underdogs. Apple tried the long-form storytelling marketing campaign which featured 4 colleagues that were clear underdogs. After a chance run-in with their boss, the team had to prepare an idea and pitch it to her in 2 days. This fast-paced, quirky video showed the team creating a prototype, brainstorming branding ideas, consulting with other departments, and preparing for the presentation. All the frantic work and collaboration happens on trusted Apple products. Moving further, Apple's next campaign features the same underdogs, but this time working from home and adapting to the new normal. The lockdown edition of Apple at Work, the Underdogs, humorously captures all the frustration, video blunders, and family responsibilities that come with working from home. It manages to keep us all entertained while flawlessly articulating Apple's products like the iPad, iPhone, iMac, and MacBook. During the 7 minutes of the video, we are shown how the underdogs deal with similar problems just like the rest of us. They deal with the fact that an old project has been resurrected and they need to start work on it while at home, not to mention the budget slash and the timescale changes. And finally, Nike's campaign, You Can't Stop Us, that came up during the pandemic. Nike, for its latest You Can't Stop Us campaign, stitched old videos together from the archival footage in a way that has been praised on social media as a marvel of editing. The video shows us the unifying power of sports in a time like this where when the coronavirus pandemic has postponed or cancelled many sporting events. The 1 minute 30-second video features the likes of LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo, Serena Williams, Colin Kaepernick, and the Indian women's cricket team for a split second. No matter how bad it gets, we will always come back stronger. This line in the ad captures the essence of hope nicely. Moving further, the advertisement features 36 powerful pairings of athletes with a voiceover by American soccer player Megan Rapinoe. Nike's team reportedly combed through 4,000 pieces of footage to create the astonishing montage, which collected more than 13 million views in less than a day on Twitter alone. Total YouTube views as of September 2019 for the video were around 58.3 million. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on brand storytelling. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on celebrity branding. Let's start with the introduction. Celebrity branding or celebrity endorsement is a specific type of advertising moment or marketing technique. In celebrity branding, the fame or social status of a celebrity is used to promote a product, brand or service. It can also be used to raise awareness about an issue. Using well-known and beloved people to promote products is a common technique. This type of endorsement has a long marketing history. Moving forward, the intention behind these strategies is quite simple. Based on the knowledge of the company has about the celebrity, the famous personality can draw attention to the brand. This also helps to shape the perception of the brand. There is always a hope that the fans of the famous personality will also become fans of their products or services. Moving on to certain examples, starting with the first one, Cristiano Ronaldo and Nike. Ronaldo is typically deemed to be the highest paid athlete in the world. In 2003, he signed with Nike for the first time. He also signed a lifetime deal in 2016, which was valued at $1 billion. Next, Sofia Vergara. In 2017, Forbes, not for the first time, named Modern Family star Sofia Vergara as the highest paid actress in television. This is because she has a wide range of profitable endorsement deals. Since 2011, Sofia Vergara has earned $157.5 million, out of which $94.5 million was earned from pitch deals with brands like Quaker Oats, CoverGirl, Head & Shoulders and Pepsi. Moving on to example 3 of Michael Jordan and Nike. Nike signed a deal in 1984 with the 21-year-old amateur Michael Jordan. During that time, Nike was a struggling company. Nike offered Jordan a $500,000 a year deal for 5 years. They even offered him his own shoe, the Air Jordan, an honor that Adidas, Jordan's then preferred brand, was not prepared to do. According to TMZ, Air Jordan, worth $126 million, was sold by Nike in the very first year of the deal. Forbes said that Jordan had made roughly $1.3 billion from the partnership with Nike. Moving forward, wholesale revenue reached $3.14 billion in the fiscal year ending of May 2019 at Nike's Jordan brand subsidiary. This was noted a 10% increase from the year 2018. LeBron James stands at the number 2 earner with $32 million, while Michael Jordan annually earns an estimated $130 million, 4 times more than that of LeBron James. It's important to note, it has been 16 years since Michael Jordan last played on the court. Arguably, more Jordan branded shoes and apparel are being sold now than the signature lines of every other current NBA player combined. Moving on to certain prerequisites in celebrity branding. To improve knowledge, impression and reaction towards the brand, the celebrity needs to be known well enough. It is important for the chosen celebrity endorser to have a high degree of visibility. They should also have a robust set of potentially useful associations, opinions and emotions. The celebrity in question needs to be credible in terms of expertise, reliability and likability or charm. They also need to have a distinct association that carry probable product relevance. Moving on, let's look at the advantages of celebrity branding. First, awareness of the brand improves. The celebrity helps to improve the awareness, appearance and reactions of the brand. It builds credibility. People are more connected to their favorite celebrity. The fans also have faith in their favorite celebrity. Thus, it creates an impression in the minds of the people that if the product is good enough for a celebrity, it is good enough for them. Next, it helps set the brand apart. It distinguishes the brand from its competitors. Customers remember the ad, thereby improving ad recall. Third, new users are attracted. Celebrities appeal to customers who have never tried the brand. This could possibly turn users of competing brands into loyal, long-term customers. Fourth, brand positioning. In order to position the brand, a company can make use of celebrity personalities. To highlight the goodness of a product in the minds of a target group is called product positioning. Now looking at an example of a perfect match between a celebrity and the brand. In this case, Under Armour and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Dwayne Johnson and Under Armour's collaboration sits in the top of the list of the best match celebrity endorsements. The Rock started his partnership with Under Armour under the name Project Rock in Jan 2016. Project Rock 1 sneaker released in May 2018. According to a post on Johnson's Instagram account, it sold out in less than 24 hours. Since then, the collection has included a lot of various products under its umbrella, including headphones. The entire collection was a hit. The headphones sold out in 72 hours and Project Rock 2 shoe became the number 1 brand seller. A new Project Rock 3 training shoe was launched in September 2020 amid the pandemic. Under Armour said that the Project Rock 3 has the Under Armour hover technology. In this technology, it provides zero gravity feel in order to maintain the energy return, which helps remove impact. Moving on, the potential problems in celebrity branding. There could be a number of potential problems. The first being endorsements of many products at a time. Second, celebrities can lose popularity. Third, monetary motivation. Fourth, product and celebrity mismatch. Fifth, bad behavior resulting in tarnished brand image. Let's look at each one of them briefly. Starting with endorsements of many products at a time. If celebrities endorse many products, they end up looking insincere and opportunistic. Second, celebrities can lose popularity. If a celebrity loses popularity or lands in trouble, it could reduce the market value of the brand. It could also result in failing to living up to expectation. For instance, a footballer is out of form and not performing, thereby losing popularity. Third, monetary motivation. Consumers can feel that celebrity personalities do not believe in the brand or use it. They could believe that the endorsement is only done for financial benefits. Fourth, product and celebrity mismatch. It is important that the product and the celebrity be a correct match. Many endorsements seem to fail this test, but the best example in this case is ex-James Bond Pierce Brosnan, an Indian-based company Pan Bahar. Brosnan said that according to his contract, he was to advertise a breath freshener or tooth whitener. He claimed that the use of his image in the Pan Masala brand's advertisement was deceptive and was shocked by it. Brosnan thought he was cheated by the company. The company did not reveal to him about the hazardous nature of the product. And finally, bad behavior of the celebrity resulting in tarnished brand image. A background check is conducted by most companies before signing a celebrity. But this does not necessarily protect them from bad behavior of the celebrity in the future. Many endorsers have had legal troubles, personal problems, or some form of controversies over the years. This may have reduced their marketing value. The best example in this case is Tiger Woods. After reports of his serious unfaithfulness emerged, golf champion lost many endorsement deals. The 2009 scandal involving the golfers, car crash, and many alleged affairs cost management company IMG $4.6 million in fees. This major loss was suffered as the sponsors Gillette, Gatorade, AT&T, and Accenture stopped their involvement with him then. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on celebrity branding. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on brand advocates. Now let's start with the definition of a brand advocate. Individuals who advertise a brand are known as brand advocates. A brand advocate can be anybody who believes in a brand, loves it, and advertises it devotedly. Posting positive brand reviews, vibrant social media posts, other brand-focused content, personal recommendation to friends, and oral marketing are some of their activities. Usually, brand advocates voluntarily advertise the brands without the brand having to persuade them. Since the impression of others are sought and trusted by audiences, this is important in all marketing strategies. Moving on, who can be a brand advocate? Well, anyone who supports a brand by taking part in actions related to promoting a brand can be a brand advocate. Some of the most popular types of brand advocates are: first, the internal customers, that is the employees of the company. The employees of a company have the potential to be exceptional brand advocates since they are thorough with the services and products of the brand. Next in line are the customers. A brand can benefit from its customers advocating it. This can also be a powerful marketing strategy. Advertising based on real experience and reviews is sought by various potential customers. And finally, business affiliates. Brand awareness and clientele can be broadened with solid affiliate programs and partnerships. Moving on to the benefits of brand advocate marketing. First, almost free marketing. Brand advocacy helps organically develop a brand and promote it with very little or no investment. The love brand advocates have for the brand makes them promote it everywhere, including emails, social media, blogs, face-to-face, etc. Next, extrinsic incentive is not required. External motivation is not needed for brand advocates to promote the brand. Brand advocates are motivated internally to promote the brand or its product due to their love for it. Rewarding brand advocates with a small token of gratitude in the form of discounts, products, or spotlight on social media is considered a good practice. Next, favorable reviews. Brand advocates voluntarily leave influential and favorable reviews of the brand. Since the purchasing decision of most potential customers is influenced by reviews of existing customers based on their experience, reviews are vital for the brand. And finally, the faith. Followers and friends believe in the opinions and reviews of customers who are brand advocates. Friends of brand advocates trust their peers to be truthful to them and hence will want to purchase the brand's products believing that it will be beneficial to them. Moving on to brand advocate versus brand ambassador. The word brand ambassador is sometimes used synonymously with brand advocates. Brand advocates, due to their love for the brand, help in voluntary advertising. Nevertheless, brand advocates are not paid by brands to promote and represent them for a comparatively longer time. Brand ambassadors, on the other hand, are paid and are more formal as compared to brand advocates. Unlike brand ambassadors, advocates are not obligated to follow the rules and regulations related to promotions. Hence, brand advocate advertising is less organized than ambassador advertising. Next, creating brand advocates. First, identifying brand advocates. Since they are faithful to the brand, advocates must be identified among the brand's employees and customers. This can be determined by studying the customer's engagement with the brand's post. The brand's advocates must be rewarded, incentivized, and taken care to retain their interest. Next, make it easy to share posts. A brand must make its messages easy to repost, share, or like once read by audiences.
Software for brand advocacy that is economical, easily usable, and dependable with respect to both the brand's website and internet must be opted. Next, consistency is important. Coming up with unique offers or blog posts regularly will give customers an impression that the brand is authentic and cares about their opinions. The probability of customers anticipating the brand's post regularly is higher. Customers tend to seek safety when they spend money. A reliable brand can come off as safe. And finally, customer and employee feedback. Feedback from customers and employees must be a part of the brand's program. Intranet surveys and websites can be set up effortlessly. Asking for reviews and testimonials may also be a good idea since they help the brand determine if they are on the right path. And testimonials these days are also video testimonials, which are more authentic in nature. And finally, moving on to brand advocate examples. Starting with the first one of Apple, its hashtag campaign that is hashtag short on iPhone. In 2019, Apple released a campaign for brand advocacy. Every iPhone user was asked to put in a photo that had been clicked with their phones. The top 10 of these were shortlisted. These were put up on billboards across some urban areas, online and in Apple stores. The campaign saw a massive response on social media. It turned out to be a great marketing strategy in and of itself. And today there are more than 20 million posts of hashtag short on iPhone on Instagram. The next example is of Starbucks. First, Starbucks loyalty program. Until October 2020, 50% of Starbucks revenue was made through its reward program with more than 19.3 million customers participating. Starbucks prioritizes the experience of its customers and tries to line up its goals with the reward program, keeping the customers' needs in mind. This makes it an industry leader. Starbucks also swiftly switched to in-store pickups from third place after COVID-19 restrictions to stay home interrupted the regular morning routine of its customers in March 2020. Now moving on our focus to Starbucks employees. First, employees are called partners. Starbucks calls its employees partners. This forms a bond between the organization and the employees. Next is the education for them. Starbucks gives potential partners, as in the employees, a chance to get a bachelor's degree. Tuition is paid for 100% along with advising, counseling and coaching. All of this is provided through the Arizona State University's most prestigious online degree programs. Next, Care at the Work by Care.com. Partners as in employees in America can get 10 backup care days for adults and kids annually. Planning for care for the elderly and premium membership for Care.com is also offered. And finally, Starbucks COVID-specific initiative. April 6, 2020 onwards, Starbucks provided a mental coach or therapist through provider Lyra Health. All its American staff and some relatives have access to 20 sessions annually, and this is for free. These can be face-to-face sessions or via a video chat. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on brand advocates. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video.
In this video, we are going to cover the topic on brand experience. Now let's start with what is brand experience. A brand experience involves creating a sensory experience that forms a meaningful and long-term connection between a brand and customer. Moving forward, a brand experience is the entirety of all actions, thoughts, feelings and sensations brought forth by a brand. As stated by the Dictionary of Brand written by Martin Neumer, all the interactions people have with the product and service or organization is brand experience. Moving further, as stated by the Global Chief Creative Officer of Geometry Global, it is the ecosystem that exists around a brand or product. Moving on, brand experience impacts consumers' emotions about a brand over simple but impactful interaction. Brand experience makes customers aware about the brand. It encourages consumers to stay loyal to the brand. The eventual aim is to bring about positive feelings and emotions from customers about a particular brand. Moving on to brand experience examples. Starting with the first one, Netflix. Netflix has only a few choices for building a meaningful brand experience. In spite of this, they build memorable experiences for people who love a popular show that Netflix brought back. Next, Red Bull. Red Bull is widely purchased. It has been sold for a long time in the energy drinks market, which is recent. It has built innovative brand experiences by hosting sponsored shows for extreme physical stunts and other sports. Next, Lego. Lego came up with the idea of giving consumers a meaningful experience before they buy, during the purchase and afterwards. It is achieved by touch points that bring out behaviors, feelings and thoughts. Lego lets anybody test their products. Customers experience a Lego brand with their hands even before they buy. Next, important elements of brand experience. First, customer support given by the company. Next, the user experience when it comes to feeling the product or having an online experience with the brand. Third, the image of the brand as in the brand image in the market. Fourth, the brand voice as in the speaker.
That could be through TV ads, radio commercials, or a celebrity endorsement. And finally, the brand design, as in packaging, the font, the color that's gone into making the brand. Moving on, how to create an awesome brand experience. Let's start with the first one. Experiences should matter more than the sales. What takes place prior to, during, and post the sale is most important for the customer who's buying. The consumer will recall their before the purchase experience. They will think it was enjoyable and simple. The post-sale phase should also make them feel good. These experiences are very important for the overall brand experience. For a good brand experience, the journey is more important than the destination. Example in this case is Starbucks. Next, create a chance for interactions. Consumers desire interaction with a brand beyond just the sale. An experience needs all the senses to interact with the brand. One should ask if the brands let consumers talk about, read about, hear and see the product or service. The accessibility, audibility and visibility give many chances for this interaction. Giving consumers surveys and contests, letting them try out the products and building pop-up shows are popular methods for giving the audience a chance to interact. Example, #ShareACoke campaign, which was globally popular, wherein customers could get their names or names of their loved ones printed on a Coke can. Next, consistency is important. It is crucial that the various elements which form the brand have similar language. Lack of consistency can harm customer experience and brand image in general. Brand guidelines and brand assets take care of the inconsistency that are optical. This embraces things like logo, typography, and brand color palette. Example, FedEx with its logo all over their vans as well as aircrafts that are used for the courier transport. Next in line, concentrate on storytelling. The greatest brand experiences are the ones that focus on storytelling. A larger picture can be painted by storytelling. What is the story of the brand? What are its origins? How is it impacting people's lives? All these questions matter. Telling the story creates curiosity, fosters continuity, and shows that the brand is a living, growing thing and not just an unmoving product whose only goal is money. The example in this case of storytelling is Apple's Underdogs campaign, which is Apple at Work. Apple tried the long-form storytelling and marketing campaign which featured 4 colleagues that are clear underdogs. After a chance run-in with the boss, the team has to prepare an idea, pitch it to her in 2 days. This fast-paced, quirky video showed the team creating a prototype, brainstorming branding ideas, consulting with other departments and preparing for the presentation. All the frantic work and the collaboration happens on trusted Apple products as shown in the video. In fact, the storytelling continued when Apple came out with the lockdown edition of Apple at Work, which captures all frustrations, video blunders and family responsibilities that come with working from home. Moving on to the next and the final one has to find a motive. One has to find the answer to the query, who are you? It is very important to brand experience. A brand should be well defined. It decides the customer experience tone. If a market is completely saturated, then products that have a larger goal are seen as unique. The goal is more valuable than the product itself for brand experience. In this case, the example is of Facebook and their statement of purpose, that is, bring the world closer together. That is done through all the brands under its portfolio with notable ones such as WhatsApp, Instagram, Jiffy and Facebook itself. So that's it folks, this brings an end to the topic on brand experience. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video.
In this video, we are going to cover the topic on corporate identity. Now let's start with the definition of corporate identity. Corporate identity is who you are as a company. The company's values, culture, internal and external correspondence, along with its design side, are all parts of its corporate identity. The visual characteristics and design components of a company are all part of corporate identity, right from stationery to social media assets to logos. Although part of it, corporate identity isn't about just the visual icon of logos. It is a culmination of everything ranging from stationery to staff uniforms and everything in between: the product packaging, social media assets, billboard ads, office signage, etc. Moving on to what is corporate identity. The overall visual representation of a company chosen and designed by the organization through typefaces, logo, color palettes, taglines, tone of voice, and imagery is called corporate identity. Its physical form of evidence is in the form of uniforms, stationery, packaging, brochures, online campaigns, or merchandise. Just like a product or service, corporate identity is also what a company is identified with, and hence should be a representation of the company's personality. Moving on, difference between corporate identity and brand identity. Corporate identity is also different to brand identity. Let's consider the example of Apple. Apple has one corporate identity, one logo, pristine white stores, one set of values and company culture. And then it has several brands underneath that corporate umbrella. That is, the iPhone,
MacBook, iPad, Apple Watch, each with an individual brand identity. Moving on to the importance of corporate identity. First, a brand that is instantly identifiable and recalled is created with the help of corporate identity. A consistent appearance and experience must be maintained at every touchpoint. A corporate identity can influence the brand image of a company, which otherwise is built through independent communications with the company. It can increase the company's control over its brand image. It helps a company stand out amidst its competitors, and finally, helps with successful interactions with investors, employees, and customers. Next, elements of corporate identity. First, company vision and purpose. Companies with a genuine and relevant vision manage to acquire both customers and employees who are dedicated to them. For example, Tesla for its electric vehicles and Lush Cosmetics, which are handmade. Next, value, culture, and behavior. The culture and values of the company are important while building its corporate identity. The leadership has a company's culture incorporated within in all its hires, procedures, and policies. Example, Marriott International. For more than 2 decades, Marriott International has been on the Fortune 100 Best Companies to Work For list. A workplace culture's employee rating is the basis of Marriott ranking. They include friendship with their leaders, honor with respect to their job, and faith in their leader. Its founders have always believed if you take care of your associate, as in the employees, they will take care of the guest, and the guest will keep coming back again and again. Moving on to the third, logo. Corporate identity's most graphic component is the logo. A logo should help the company be recognized on first glance since it is meant to be a distinct visual descriptor. Examples of companies with famous logos: Apple, Tesla, Facebook, IKEA, and Johnny Walker. Fourth, typeface. Typography is a proof that the shape, weight, spacing, and style of written words can be very informative. Even before reading, words can be graceful and luxurious, daring and imposing, or even warm and affectionate. Examples: first, Google. Google's new logo is based on a new font that is Product Sans. Then comes Jeep. The Jeep logo type lettering is very similar to a font called Helvetica Bold, and the font is a commercial one. Next is Nivea. The Nivea logo features the Nivea logo type, which is very similar to a font called Eagle Bold. Then comes Aston Martin. Optima Roman is the font used in the Aston Martin logo. This font is designed by Herman Saff. Then comes Calvin Klein. Futura Light is the font used in the Calvin Klein logo. This font is designed by Paul Renner and published by URW Type Foundry. The most comprehensive component of corporate identity must be the style of typography. They appear on presentations, email signatures, contracts, office signatures, emails, stationery, brochures, etc. Remember, above all, the type choice needs to be legible, clear, and work across different digital and print platforms. Fifth in line is the imagery. A very strong component of corporate identity is the images. The experience that illustrations and photography provide are imageries that represent an organization. For Airbnb are the pictures of the destinations, and for Lego it's the toys. Next, style guidelines. Dependable execution of brand identity is ensured by guidelines and is called a corporate identity manual. The time and way of using various visual assets must be specified by guidelines. Each and every placement should be considered. Example, email banners, social media cover images, email signatures, business cards, letterheads, etc. Next in line is the website. The hub of any new age business ecosystem is its website. It is a center for all of a company's product information and content. It is a single place on the web where companies have complete control. Majority of companies' customers eventually end up at their website while shopping. The example of one of the best websites is Canva. Next, social media. Social media channels are behind websites in order of important online platforms. And even corporate events needs to be conveyed irrespective of the social channel a company focuses on, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or any other trendy channel. Example, Coca-Cola's online presence. Next, packaging. If a company has merchandise, physical items, or marketing collaterals like flyers, mugs, lens, etc., offline materials like packaging must not be ignored amidst the enthusiasm for online materials. There must also tell a connected story and incorporate your corporate identity. First example, Apple's pristine white packaging, and the other one, Ferrero Rocher's packaging, which is ideal for gifting. And finally, the color palette. According to scientists in the study, impact of color on marketing, 90% of customers make immediate judgments based on color. Selecting a color palette for a brand is an important step for the company to build a corporate identity. Examples, Victoria's Secret and pink, Coca-Cola for red, and McDonald's red and yellow. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on corporate identity. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video.
In this video, we are going to cover the topic on corporate branding. Now let's start with defining corporate branding. Corporate branding is a practice of marketing the brand name of a corporate entity. This is different from marketing individual services or products. Corporate branding is how a corporation is seen by people around the globe. This does not involve only service or product. The whole organization and its public image are represented by the brand. It also deals with how it presents itself to the employees. The company's unique identity comes from the energy and intangible attitude driving it. Moving on to the importance of corporate branding. A robust corporate identity strongly connects organizations to partners and prospects. Subconscious and conscious opinions about the whole organization are also improved. Brand should be continuously represented visually. This increases awareness among employees, shareholders, and consumers. Having a well-formed brand identity is important. It makes a brand personality more consistent and less vague. Successful corporate brands have a few things in common. One is that they keep up an image of professionalism among investors, peers, and consumers. This makes the company more credible among industry peers. Next, advantages of corporate branding. First, it gives companies a competitive advantage during product sales or while providing services. Prospects know about the company due to its strong corporate brand and image. Products are well received by the market due to a good corporate history. This legacy is built by the company's older or current line of products and services. Corporate branding lets a company access new markets and areas, whether they are international or domestic. An emotional bond is formed with potential and current customers. This happens when there is brand loyalty among the people. And finally, consumers develop this understanding by identifying with taglines, color shades, mascots, logo, and other brand elements. Moving on to corporate branding strategies. Corporate branding can make use of various things. These are: first, name and logo. A brand needs a name that is easy to remember and a logo that is recognizable. Second, excellent customer service. Customers get a better impression of a corporate entity when their needs are looked into. Third, fair and equitable treatment and training of employees. The representation of employees is the key to successful corporate branding. Next, environmental friendly packaging. At a point of time when looking after the environment is crucial, this helps show that a company is responsible. Next, integrated marketing communication. It is important to send out clear and well thought out communication to people in order to maintain a lasting image. Next, quality of products and services. A company builds a legacy by consistently delivering good quality products and services. Next, company CSR and philanthropic activities. A corporate entity that gives back to society earns the trust of the general public. And finally, touchpoint. A touchpoint is any way in which the general public interacts with a brand. It impacts how consumers see a corporate brand. Moving on to corporate branding examples. First, the Coca-Cola Company. The Coca-Cola Company is an American multinational beverage corporation headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. The group offers over 500 brands among 4,700 products in more than 200 countries and territories. The Coca-Cola Company has interests in manufacturing, retailing, and marketing of non-alcoholic beverage concentrates and syrups. Next, Apple. Apple is a well-known technology giant which sells electronic gadgets. These include TV, computer system, laptop, tablets, smartphones, etc. Apple products are known for their technology, class, and quality. It has a creative, catchy logo. It targets a niche audience that is well-to-do. It uses solid color tones highlighting the minimalistic design. Its finesse is also quite classy. Its logo is clearly visible in its television, digital, and print commercials. These follow the same design route. Apple's products are easily identifiable. To achieve this, it has invested a lot in corporate branding. Next, Nestlé. Nestlé is a multinational conglomerate based in Switzerland. It is involved in food and beverage processing. The company's headquarters are in Vevey-Voort. By revenue and measurement, it is the world's largest food company since 2014. The company has many products such as snacks, pet food, bottled water, ice cream, cereals, coffee, tea, confectionery, dairy products, breakfast, frozen food, medical food, and baby food. 29 of Nestlé's brands' annual sales cross $1.1 billion. Some of these brands are Maggi, Vittel, Smarties, Stouffer's, Nesquik, Kit Kat, Nescafe, and Nespresso. Nestlé is present in 189 countries, and the company owns about 447 factories. It owns a large number of stake in the world's largest cosmetic company, L'Oreal. That's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on corporate branding. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video.
In this video, we are going to cover the topic on emotional branding. Let's start with the introduction. Emotional branding is the process of developing a connection between the brand and consumer
by provoking the emotions. It is a term used in marketing communication that refers to the practice of building brands that appeal directly to the consumers by creating content that pleases the consumer's emotional state, needs, egos, and aspirations. Big brands often attempt to build their brand in a way that it strikes an emotional chord with customers. Example, Johnson & Johnson is perceived as an authentic and genuine brand that evokes trust, affection, and strong loyalty. Emotional branding is the art of storytelling that helps a brand connect with its appropriate audience. For instance, Coca-Cola's Happiness Booth. In 2014, Coca-Cola installed 5 unique phone booths in Dubai's labor camps that accepted Coca-Cola bottle caps instead of coins. Migrant workers could make a 3-minute international call in exchange for the cap of bottle of Coke, which cost about 54 cents. The ad shows laborers in hard hats and reflective vests queuing up happily to use the machine for the first time in the video as they wait. One of them said, "I have saved one more cap so I can talk to my wife again tomorrow." More than 40,000 people used the machine and made calls. This Dubai ad was created by one of the local agencies, YNR Dubai. It belongs to a series called Where Will Happiness Strike Next, which tries to celebrate people having authentic expressions in which they are surprised by something they did not expect. Types of emotion. This type of marketing is intended to personalize a brand, allowing your customers to form an emotional connection with your brand or service. Positive emotions usually refer to when think of love, happiness, and joy. Furthermore, according to psychologists, positive emotions can range from being happiness, pride, serenity, interest, satisfaction, relief, inspiration, euphoria, and optimism. These core values can be combined with multiple other emotions, characteristics, and attributes to create an emotional brand. Now let's look at the science behind emotional branding. Some companies figure out ways that can modify their brand awareness strategies to influence customers on a psychological level with a tactic called neuromarketing. Neuromarketing uses neuroscience to the marketing field. Its objective is to identify how users' brains work and how we can use that insight to promote brands at the promotional and product design level. Entailing eye tracking studies, facial coding, and EEG in neuromarketing can examine a person's reaction and understand how exactly a person will emotionally respond to an advertisement or brand. Some of the benefits of emotional branding are differentiation from competition, humanize the brand loyalty, and better return on investment. Now let's look at some of the best practices involved in emotional branding. Let's start with focus on emotions through visuals. Emotions are paramount to effective neuromarketing due to the ability to influence a customer's subconscious mind. As a fact, nearly 50% of the brain has visual processing power. Not only to the visual identity, but the brand must also pay attention to fonts, logos, colors, depth, and movement to optimize positive emotional experiences. Example, Ronald McDonald's impact on kids. Next up is storytelling. Narratives and storytelling engage the customer's subconscious mind and create an emotional connection with the brand story and brand at large. Example, Airbnb. Airbnb is in the hospitality business. When the brand entered the New York market, it experienced a solid resistance from the hotel business. To create awareness among the local people, it ran an ad campaign with the slogan, "New Yorkers agree, Airbnb is great for New York City." To make an even more slashing impact, the brand created a video of Carol Williams, who was one of its hosts. Next, personalize your interactions. Make the users feel happy, satisfied, and important. Make the interactions feel unique and genuine. Plan for customization along with targeted sales and marketing techniques to create interactions that they feel like they are personally tailored for each individual user. Example, the personalization at Ritz-Carlton. 3 steps of service. A warm and sincere greeting. Use the guest name and anticipate and meet with guest need. Fond farewell. Give a warm goodbye and use the guest name for a personal touch. Next is to inspire engagement. Regular engagement with your users give them a feeling of being more personally connected to your brand and evokes more emotional reactions. Start engaging more with your users by affiliating with influencers, sharing user-generated content on social media, and replying to reviews and comments to make a lasting bond. Example, the emoji engagement. Selling is most efficient when people understand what you are saying. But with the growth of emojis in marketing, the universal language has numerous implications and purposes. Several companies have started to incorporate emojis in their email marketing campaigns, social media strategies, and new product launches. Example, Domino's introduced a tweet-to-order system for US customers which allow users to initiate a pizza order by texting a pizza emoji. Next is to join hands with an influencer. Businesses roughly earn up to $6.5 for every dollar that is spent on influencer marketing. People have a tendency to trust industry experts. Customers have an intrinsic trait to trust the advice of an authoritative person in an industry. A very common instance of this behavior can be observed in our daily life when we seek advice from our seniors to validate our decisions. Example of an influencer could be that Chiara Ferragni is an Italian entrepreneur, fashion blogger, influencer and designer. Owning a blog named The Blonde Salad, she has collaborated with fashion and beauty brands. She was ranked first on the Forbes top influencer list in September 2017 edition. And finally, respond to public relations issues quickly. Timing is very important when responding to issues of any degree, and customers appreciate a quick response when firms make any mistake. Example, when Johnson & Johnson had a case of tampering with Tylenol, to which they responded immediately by pulling out all inventory from shelves to protect consumers, even though there was no evidence of further contamination. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on emotional branding. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on luxury branding. Let's start with the introduction. Luxury as a word stems from the Latin word luxus, which means complete indulgence of the senses irrespective of the cost. In the language of economics, a luxury product is one for which demand increases beyond proportion as the income rises, so the expenses on the products become a significant proportion of the overall spending. Luxury goods are frequently used synonymously with superior goods. The luxury goods market is expected to reach $374 billion by 2020. 6 factors clearly define a luxury brand. Number 1. Price. The brand proposes products that are the most expensive in its category. Second, quality. The brand extends long-lasting top-of-the-line products, which despite being used over a prolonged period are not disposed of. Instead, they are repaired and reused, which often gives value over time. Third, aesthetics. The brand behaves stylish and debonair. The brand when noticed personifies a world of beauty and elegance. Fourth, rarity. In contradiction to the mass market brands, luxury or niche brands limit its production and tries not to disclose extraordinary sales numbers. The brand is arduous to get and it's not readily available at all times or places. Extraordinariness. Luxury brands have a soul and style of their own, and they amaze and surprise the customer with the expected unexpected. And finally, symbolism. The brand believes in sticking to the best from the best for the best mantra. Now, why do consumers pay a higher price for a luxury brand? First, unjustifiable behavior of the consumer. Consumers often make decisions based on their wants instead of needs, and these wants are the ones that give the happiness in the given moment. For example, Apple, despite having equivalent technological advancements like its competitors, gets away with the most popular smartphone every year. Second, boosting morale. Sometimes niche products could act as a therapy. They tend to make people feel better about themselves, especially when their spirits are low. Expensive and larger items can cast a bigger impact on their self-esteem. Example, there's a reason why Porsche and midlife crisis are often synonymous. Third, reliability. People instantly pay more for items they perceive to be more authentic. Price in this way acts as a sort of quality check. Example, a fake Prada purse sold on the street doesn't even hold a candle against the real deal in the nearest boutique. Fourth, durability and long life of the brand. Luxury brand gives buyers and the space to project their fantasies onto the product, which is how they create a long-lasting story in the minds of their customers. The product this way lives longer than the non-premium brands. It is at this point where consumers are willing to pay a higher price for a more authentic brand. Example, Rolex watches. The list of the most valuable luxury brands in the world. Interbrand, a marketing consulting firm, published its ranking of the top global brands of 2019, and Louis Vuitton topped the list. The next is the list of the most popular brands online in 2020, and Gucci here tops the list. Next up is the element of desire. People seldom aspire things they can have instantly. Desire is created when something is just out of reach. Example, Hermes. The exclusivity around the brand is a result of its philosophy and goal of always remaining ultra-premium and luxurious that can be afforded by very few and not be readily available. Such tactics help aspiring brands to build successful luxury brands. For instance, the Hermes Birkin bag had a waiting list of almost 6 years. How to build a luxury brand? Number 1, become a status symbol. Pay close attention to how influencers in a particular niche are using your product or service. By creating a perception that only the most refined people opt for your brand, the target market actually ends up doing so. Example, shoes have taken up the place handbags used to own as a status symbol, where buyers are willing to pay a premium price. Example, Balenciaga's $900 pair of sneakers. Create exclusivity. Luxury brands have acquired the potential of restricting the supply or access to their products. Newer niche brands have started being more exclusive by extending distinctive perks to existing customers. Other ways to employ the strategy is by raising the price and creating scarcity. Example, Aston Martin. The British car maker consolidated a high price tag along with the scarcity of the product when it created the Aston Martin 177. Aston Martin manufactured only 77 cars and sold them at $1.8 million each. Tom Ford, when he hosts a fashion show, it perfectly illustrates a true exclusivity for a hand-chosen audience. At one of the shows, each guest was individually invited by telephone, ensuring there were no press photographers. He compared the show himself while companions such as Beyoncé and Juliana Moore modeled alongside. It flew in the face of the fashion industry's desire for maximum media. Next up, customization. To build a niche brand, one must create a customization offer for uniqueness. Customization differentiates luxury brands and augments its craftsmanship, overall quality, and creativity concerning the brand. Example, Louis Vuitton gives its buyer access to custom design their shoes, bags, and trunks. The brand in October 2018 introduced its very first personalization program in menswear, stated, "Now yours," a customizable capsule collection starring the iconic runway sneaker as well as range of individualized ready-to-wear apparels such as aviator jackets, varsity cardigans, and classic denim wear trousers. The next example could be of My Muesli's premium customized mixed cereal, which enables the buyer to choose between grains, fruit, seeds, and nuts. The next strategy to build a luxury brand is focus on sensory branding. Sensory branding has become a big deal, especially in the luxury retail and hospitality business, as brands clamor to distinguish themselves and develop connection with the customer on different levels. Example, Rolls-Royce, a luxury car brand, captures the feeling of vintage models in every new car by dispersing a blend of mahogany wood, leather and oil. Soundwich in Portugal provides gourmet sandwiches delivered in boxes that play music chosen by the chef. Next up, immerse customers in your brand ethos. Luxury fashion and lifestyle brands have always invested in the environment to allow their customers to feel the brand's prestige and build a stronger emotional connection. Example, Victor & Rolf built an upside-down store in Milan to blazon their unruly approach to design. The next example, Jimmy Choo designed a high tea at Hong Kong's landmark Oriental Hotel that featured sandwiches, scones and macaroons, handcrafted in exquisite shoes and handbag shapes. And finally, a quick snapshot of the luxury goods portfolio and brands within each of the groups. In the leftmost column are the name of the groups, along with their country of origin and the selection of luxury brands which fall under these groups. For instance, under Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy Group, you have brands like Louis Vuitton, Fendi, Bulgari, etc. These groups not only include apparels and footwear, they also include perfumes, bags, watches, sunglasses, etc. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on luxury branding. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on branding challenges. Let's start with the introduction. Branding is not easy. It's not just about giving a name or an attractive logo or slogan. It is one of the most challenging tasks a manager faces. Some of the challenges include: first, knowledgeable customers; second, brand proliferation; third, media transformation; fourth, decreasing brand loyalty in many categories; fifth, increased competition; sixth, increased cost; and finally, greater accountability for managers. Let's look at each one of them briefly, starting with knowledgeable customers. In this day and age, consumers can consult a vast number of sources of information, example Google. This has become one of the prime challenges of the marketing environment. It is a strong belief that it's become tougher than before to convince consumers with conventional communications like print ads, outdoor ads, and TV ads. Having more knowledge and experience in marketing has made consumers increasingly demanding. A brand's fate is actively affected by an empowered customer. For example, customers directly interacting with Tesla CEO Elon Musk. concerns and queries of Tesla customers on Twitter are responded by Elon Musk, the CEO of the company. Example: one driver complained on Twitter that his children became overheated in the back of a Tesla due to poor airflow and asked Musk for ideas on Twitter. The driver stated, "Put the kids in the rear of my in-laws Tesla S and went for a 20-minute drive. Air was set as cold as possible, but the kids were dehydrated and drenched in sweat after the drive. Turns out there is no air circulation back there." Elon Musk, any ideas? Love the car, but that's dangerous. Elon Musk responded to the query himself and advised the driver to change the settings of the airflow. He stated, "If there's anyone in the third row, turn off air recirculation. Third row cooling happens by air entering from the front and exiting through the vents in the rear bumper." Moving on to the second challenge, brand proliferation. There has been a constant rise in brand extensions. This has resulted in the explosion of new brands and products, which has been an important change in the branding environment. Now, a number of different products with various level of similarities can be the identifying factors of a brand. Example, Samsung smartphones. Samsung has many brands like the A series, J series, Note series, M and Galaxy. This can sometimes get confusing. Now that a lot of brands are expanding, selling places have become congested. Just getting a product on the shelf of a retail store can cause fight between brands. Moving on to the third challenge, media transformation. There has been a divide between conventional advertising media and the rise of interactive and non-conventional media. Marketers are willing to spend more on non-conventional forms of communication. New forms of communication like sports and event sponsorship, product placement in movies, interactive digital media, mini billboards in transit vehicles, and in-store advertising are on the rise. Example, Red Bull Stratos. Australian skydiver Felix Baumgartner was involved in a high-altitude diving project called the Red Bull Stratos. On October 14, 2012, he flew approximately 39 kilometers into the stratosphere over New Mexico, United States. He flew up in a helium balloon before free-falling in a pressure suit and then parachuting to Earth. According to the Australian media, more than $64.8 million was invested in the event by Red Bull. Moving further to the fourth challenge of decreasing brand loyalty. Every product and service category has a large number of sellers. This creates problems like the decrease in brand loyalty among customers. Example, services. A lot of brand switching happens in the airline and hospitality industry. And when it comes to products, declining brand loyalty is a beginning of e-commerce players in every product category. Next, the challenge of increased competition. The market has become increasingly competitive. This has forced marketers to use a lot of discounts or financial incentives. The increase in demand has been made possible because of both the demand and supply side factors. Moving further, a number of factors have led to competition on the supply side. First, globalization. Globalization has initiated new markets and new potential sources of income and profits. At the same time, the number of competitors has increased in the same existing markets. This threatens the established current revenue sources. Example, Gillette facing competition from smaller brands. Almost 14 years ago, P&G acquired Gillette for $57 billion. As the grooming habits changed, buying a high-margin, market-dominating brand proved to be a good deal. The Dollar Shave Club, a direct-to-consumer startup with the most appeal for millennials, was the biggest threat to them. The competitive companies shipped to customers razors for the whole month at just $1. This price was a major discount when compared to Gillette. According to the Wall Street Journal, in 2010, Gillette dominated 70% of the market share in the United States. They cited a data tracking firm Euromonitor while making these observations, which also said that in 2016, Gillette fell down to 54% in market share. Moving to the other aspects of increased competition, low-priced competitors. Private labels and low-priced clones have entered the market. Imitation of product leaders of the market has increased worldwide. Let's look at private labels. Like many other large retail and grocery chain stores, Walmart gives the customers the option of private brands. They are also called house brands or store brands. These are low-priced alternatives for branded products. Almost 84% of Walmart customers purchase private label products. According to these statistics, 4 out of 5 shoppers regularly pick in-house Walmart products over big-name brands. In fact, Walmart's Great Value brand earns more than $27 billion yearly. And now the other aspect of low-priced clones. Micromax has always imitated Samsung Galaxy products through its Canvas range of smartphones. Xiaomi, on the other hand, also made clones of Apple products and gave the company some competition. Moving on to the next challenge of increased cost. With an increase in competition, the cost of launching a new product or supporting a pre-existing one has gone up drastically.
This has made it harder to match the investment and support levels that brands were receiving in their previous years. For example, Super Bowl ad rates. During the Super Bowl in 2020, $5.6 million was reportedly the rate for a 30-second TV commercial on Fox. In 2019, during the championship match between Los Angeles Rams and New England Patriots, CBS charged $5.25 million for a 30-second slot. It could amount to roughly $175,000 per second roughly. In 2018, the price was $5.2 million. This was $1 million more than the cost to air a commercial during the 2014 Super Bowl. In 2008, the average ballpark figure for a 30-second ad was $2.69 million. In only 2 years, the price of a Super Bowl ad almost doubled. And finally, the greater accountability for managers. Marketeers may find themselves accountable for meeting large-scale short-term profit targets. This was because of the financial market pressure and senior management pressures. This may result in a dilemma of having to make decisions with short-term benefits but long-term cost, such as cutting advertising expenditures. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on branding challenges. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video.
Hello and welcome to Digi8.com. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on the 10 commandments of global branding. The 10 commandments of global branding lay out a plan to help build strong global brands. 10 commandments are: first, to comprehend resemblances and differentiation in the global branding landscape. Second, refrain from taking shortcuts. Third, determine marketing infrastructure. Fourth, use integrated marketing communication. Fifth, develop brand alliances. Sixth, balance standardization and customization. Seventh, balance global and local control. Eighth, establish operable guidelines. Ninth, implement a global brand equity measurement system. And 10, leverage brand elements. That means taking advantage of brand elements. Now let's look at each one of them briefly along with examples, starting with the first one, that is comprehend resemblances and differentiation. Every leading global brand adjusts its advertising program in some way or the other. Global brands often maintain consistency and change some elements of the marketing mix as per consumer behavior and the competition in each country. Let's take the case of McDonald's. According to the standardization strategy, McDonald's offers identical food products such as McFlurry, McNuggets, McChicken, and Happy Meal or Filet-O-Fish. But according to the differentiation strategy, McDonald's serves rice burgers in Japan. It also serves beer with burgers in Germany. McDonald's replaced pork with fish in Indonesia since the Muslim community dominates it. And finally, in India, McDonald's replaced beef with chicken. Moving on to the second commandment, that is, refrain from taking shortcuts. Building a brand in new markets need different ways of penetration. Firstly, increasing awareness becomes important before the brand image. After educating the consumer base about the brand, companies then start developing brand equity. The case in here is of HUL. Hindustan Unilever Limited, an Indian subsidiary of Unilever, conducted thorough research to serve the Indian market. Hindustan Unilever's Project Shakti trained more than 100,000 women and men to go door to door in rural India and educate users about the importance of hygiene and sell soap, toothpaste along with other Unilever products. Moving further to the third commandment, to determine marketing infrastructure. Easy manufacturing, distribution and logistical layout contribute to huge holds of success for many global brands. Companies go to great extent to ensure consistency in product quality across the globe. For instance, McDonald's procures over 90% of its raw materials from local vendors or invests in resources which are not locally available. In India, McDonald's anticipates increasing potato procurement in Gujarat from 30,000 tons to 50,000 tons in the next 3 years through its Canadian partner McCain. It supplies fresh potato for French fries and other products with the help of latest technologies and new seeds made available by McDonald's. McCain has contracted about 1,200 farmers over 4,000 acres of land in Gujarat to cultivate processed quality potatoes. Moving on to the fourth commandment of using integrated marketing communication. IMC programs have added value to several top global firms. The example in this case is Chinese smartphone brand Vivo has embraced a very bold approach in outdoor marketing. Vivo was the title sponsor for India's well-celebrated cricket tournament, the Indian Premier League. Vivo came to the IPL fold in 2016 itself as a short-term sponsor. Vivo's first 2-year sponsorship was worth INR 200 crores before the company signed a fresh deal after the 2018 edition of the T20 League, outbidding its nearest rival. Moving further, Vivo also became the official smartphone sponsor for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. The agreement was to be the sponsor for 5 years until 2022. It also backed the place being the official smartphone sponsor for FIFA Confederations Cup. According to Financial Times, the deal is worth $450 million. Moving on to the fifth commandment of developing brand alliances. A variety of global brands have made associations for marketing in some form or the other, ranging from joint ventures, franchising, distributors, or advertising agencies, or additional marketing support. Brand partnerships often preferred to gain access to distribution. Bowis and Robertson have 3 substitute ways to penetrate a new global market. First, exporting brands into new markets by introducing a geographic extension. Example, Apple products are designed in California, assembled in China and India, and then exported all over the world. Second, acquire existing brands that are already sold in the new market. Walmart acquired India's leading e-tailer, Flipkart, in India. And finally, create any sort of brand engagement with another firm that could be in the form of JVs, partnerships, or licensing agreement. Example, Walmart in Mexico is known as Walmex, which is a Mexican and Central American Walmart division. In 1991, Cifra and Walmart stores signed a joint venture agreement. In 1997, Walmart acquired 51% of share in Cifra, thereby increasing its stake in the markets. Cifra was then renamed as Walmart de Mexico. Further increasing its stake to 60% in Walmart de Mexico, it expanded more by April 2000. After acquiring major Walmart operations in Central America, Walmart Mexico replaced its name to Walmart de Mexico, that is Walmex, in Jan 2010. Walmex is recorded as Walmart's largest division outside the US as of April 30, 2020. Moving on to the sixth commandment, that is balance, standardization, and customization. One possible challenging factor across the international market is the need to mix global and local elements in marketing programs. Maintaining the equilibrium between deciding which elements to customize or adapt and which to standardize becomes a difficulty. Candidates for global campaign that retain a steady marketing strategy worldwide are: first, technologically advanced products. Example, they include television, watches, computers, digital cameras, and automobiles. Second, retailers that sell to upper-class individuals. Example, Louis Vuitton and Hermes. And third, brands based on the country of origin. Example, Corona beer from Mexico and Glenlivet, a single malt from Scotland. And finally, niche products. These products relate to fashionability, sensuality, wealth or status. The products include cosmetics, apparels, jewelry and liquor. Example, Jägermeister. Jägermeister, based in Germany, is an alcoholic beverage made with a select amalgamation of 56 herbs and spices. Wilhelm and Kurt Mast found the brand in 1934 and its alcohol volume is a solid 35%. The recipe is consistent ever since the creation for over 85 years and is still served in a signature green glass bottle. Moving on to the seventh commandment of balanced global and local control. Selecting the best suited organizational structure for efficiently managing global brands is vital in developing comprehensive marketing programs. There are 3 options here. First, centralization at home office or headquarters. Second, decentralization of decision making for local and foreign markets. And finally, some combination of centralization and decentralization. The example in this case is of McDonald's franchising model. The burger chain operates and franchises McDonald's restaurants which serve a local, relevant menu of quality food and beverages in 119 countries. Operating their own restaurants significantly adds to the ability to act as a reliable franchisor. In 2019, McDonald's total restaurant count stood at 38,695, out of which roughly 36,000 were franchised, which is 93% of the total restaurants. Moving on to the 8th commandment about establishing operable guidelines. The primary objective for everyone working in the organization is to comprehend the brand's meaning and to be able to translate it according to local consumer preferences. A brief document such as the brand charter should be able to draft out the necessary information of what the brand is and what is not. Example, McDonald's imposes rigorous worldwide controls. For instance, there are 19 steps to cook and bake the perfect golden French fries. Moving on to the 9th commandment, that is, implement a global brand equity measurement system. It is a list of research procedures especially articulated to provide timely, accurate, and actionable information for marketers on brands. Further, it helps to outline the best possible decisions in the short run and strategic choices in the long term in all relevant markets. And finally, the 10th commandment, leverage brand elements. Strategic decision and implementation of the variety of brand elements prove to be critical to make a powerful global brand image and value. Brands often get subjected to problems such as difficulty in translating brand name, proper packaging, slogans, or any other brand elements. The example in this case is the difficulty in the pronunciation of the brand Volkswagen, Givenchy, and Hermes. Further, non-verbal elements such as logo and characters are more likely to help create brand awareness than brand image. Example of famous logos: Starbucks, Nike, WhatsApp, Puma, McDonald's, and Netflix. And famous characters, or I would say mascots: Ronald McDonald, KFC Colonel, Michelin Tire Man, and finally Tony the Tiger. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on the 10 commandments to build global brand equity. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on positioning and branding for a small business. Let's start with the introduction. A challenge that small businesses face is building its brand. This is because it has limited resources and runs on limited budgets. Focus and consistency have become very important in marketing programs if the resources of the business are limited. Few of the positioning and branding guidelines include riveting advantage of product service performance, good storytelling, allowing product service tryouts, strong digital strategizing, creating community, and well consolidated brand elements. Now let's look at each one of them briefly. Starting with riveting advantage of product service performance. For a brand, a factor essential to its success is the verifiable and significant differences in the performance of its product or service performance. Example, Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee states that it sells the world's strongest coffee. It first launched in the market in 2012. Death Wish did an extremely detailed and extensive audience research before launching. This is the key to its success. On researching, it discovered that a wide percent of its audience care more about staying and feeling awake than the taste of the coffee. Apart from being sold online, this coffee is also sold in grocery stores all over the United States. Next, storytelling. Storytelling is loved by all. By indulging in stories instead of formulas and facts, a brand can strengthen its position in the market. Stories can make the customers curious and connect to them personally. Small businesses that rely on fewer number of brands and key association must strongly reinforce its marketing program and strategies gradually. Here I would like to bring to your attention that there's another video under the Marketing Masterclass course on brand storytelling. Next, allow product service tryouts. Experience-based approaches like allowing product sampling, demonstration, or other means to keep clients interested in a brand set themselves apart. Example, Blendtec. In 2007, Blendtec launched the Will It Blend series. Tom Dixon started a YouTube video series built around Blendtec's flagship high-speed blender. He blended anything from cell phones to wooden rakes because he understood that people were looking at the sharpness of a blade and motor strength in a blender. Starting from blending marbles, they have been uploading videos of eccentric scientists blending everything from iPhones to hockey pucks. The Blendtec YouTube channel had around 290 million views by October 13, 2020. Coming to the fourth strategy, strong digital strategizing. The internet enables small business to have a bigger profile virtually than they do in reality. Although the future leans towards digital communication, a firm must not rely completely on a digital platform. It creates awareness among customers but doesn't help with making customers buy a product or use a service. Hence, digital communication must be combined with personal communication. Looking at an example of digital communication is the ALS, the Ice Bucket Challenge. The Ice Bucket Challenge was an activity that promoted awareness among the people about the disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, also known as motor neuron disease, and the US known as Long-Riggs disease. It involved either self-administered dumping of ice water or a person's head, or it being dumped over someone's head by other people. It required people to be filmed while doing the same the first 24 hours of being nominated and went viral around July-August 2014. $220 million was raised by this initiative worldwide in 2014. Next up, create a community. Public relations, social networking, and low-cost marketing and promotions can be good alternatives to word-of-mouth promotion for small businesses to set their position in the market. Example, the Cronut. Bakery owner Dominic Ansel in 2013 created a pastry out of a croissant dough that was filled with cream inside. Ansel's Bakery introduced the Cronut on May 10, 2013 in the Soho neighborhood of New York. The new pastry was reported by a Grub Street, an online restaurant blog, on the same night.
The post received a lot of attention, and in the span of 3 days, around 100 customers lined up outside the bakery to taste the pastry. There was a 300% rise in the website traffic, and it soon became the trendiest pastry in town. A trademark was filed for by Ansel under the cronut around 9 days after he introduced the cronut to the bakery's menu. And finally, the strategy of well-consolidated brand elements. Logos, mascots, slogans, and packaging magnify the image of the brand and increase brand awareness. These brand elements must have as much creative potential as a brand can manage. They need to be catchy and significant. Artistic and creative packaging can be a substitute for advertisement as it catches the attention of buyers while purchasing. The example in this case is the Shorley Brewing Company. Shorley Brewing Company manages to be noticed in an industry that is full of creative brand and prides itself on it. It is famous for its 16-ounce beer cans that have 4 different colored cans. Even though the craft beer market is full of brands with good beer and beer names, Shirley stands out on the basis of names. It manages to catch a customer's eye when browsing through shelves at a grocery store. It is sold in 4 packs and big cans. Artistically, it is very different from other beer brands. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on positioning and branding for small firms. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video.
In this video, we are going to cover the topic on rebranding. Now let's start with what is rebranding. Rebranding is a marketing strategy where the appearance or aesthetics of a brand is altered. These can be things like brand elements such as name, logo, tagline, and/or fonts and icons. Rebranding is carried out when a company's identity is seen as old. The identity might confuse customers or worse, misguide them. It is done when the firm wants to distance itself from a perception. There can be many reasons why a company might want to rebrand. It could be because the tagline has fallen out of favor. There might be some other aspect of the brand that is no longer marketable. Moving on, the reputation of the brand might have been sullied. The brand might not be relevant anymore. The graphics used might look old and outdated. There are myriad reasons. The ideal time for rebranding is during a product launch. It can be done otherwise as well. The perception of the company's current product line might need readjusting. A firm might also offer great products. However, its image is not up to the mark. This is when rebranding comes in handy. If rebranding is done right, it benefits the company. Nevertheless, there is always a chance it backfires. People might reject the brand. Moving on to types of rebranding. First, proactive rebranding. Sometimes firms might want to reach out to their customer base again. They might sense a chance to start a new venture, expand business and customers, or develop a new product or service. Proactive rebranding is used in these cases. Next, reactive rebranding. Sometimes an existing brand has to be shelved and a new one made. This is when reactive branding is used. This can be needed for many reasons. The brand might have earned a bad reputation due to, for example, fraud. In addition, the brand might run into some other legal trouble. Moving on to examples of rebranding, the first one being logo change. Brands such as General Motors, Paramount, Renault, and Burger King have recently undergone a logo change, obviously to keep up with changing times and being more relevant and contemporary. Moving on to examples of brands that have changed their name. First, Matchbox to Tinder. US-based Tinder started operations in India in 2016. Its initial brand name was Matchbox. However, name Tinder became very popular very quickly. Next, Backup to Google. Backup focused only on the link back aspect. The venture has since then rebranded to Google. It is now a giant in the tech industry. Next, Relentless to Amazon. Amazon began as Relentless in 1996. It was an online bookstore initially. Its founder, Jeff Bezos, is now the richest man alive. Next, Foodie Bay to Zomato. Foodie Bay was launched in 2010. It was conceived as a website that functioned as a food directory. A couple of years later, the brand name was changed to Zomato. Now it's among the biggest tech unicorns catering to the Indian food industry. Moving on to reasons and motivation for rebranding. First, keep up with the times. Firms often rebrand to keep up with the times. That way, they still resonate with the stakeholders and customers. Sometimes a company gets a new set of customers. They would have to rebrand to align with them. Other times, a company might be entering a new industry or adopting a new course of action. Next, ongoing situations. Sometimes a company might go through a crisis like bankruptcy. It might have to be restructured. Firms might have to turn to Chapter 11. Chapter 11 is what businesses turn to reshape and rebuild their organization to clear the debts. The rebranding that takes place in this process is unintentional. Next, regain lost customers. Sometimes that brand might not resonate with customers anymore. This leads to competitors grabbing more market share. A rebranding can be used to gain lost ground. Next, dissociating from the past. There might be previous associations that company might want to distance itself from. It might want to change how others perceive the company. Studies show that this is among the biggest concerns when rebranding. Next, standing out.
Firms also use rebranding to stand out from rivals. They can try and appear more customer friendly and environmentally friendly or simply change the logo. Next, legal issues. Companies often also run into legal trouble because of malpractices. This damages their brand. Revenue might drop as a result. Rebranding is a good way out of this situation. And finally, cyclical rebranding. Some firms rebrand periodically. This helps them distinguish themselves from the competition, keeps them relevant. Cyclical rebranding is pretty common among brands such as McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Pepsi. Now moving on to rebranding versus repositioning. Repositioning. Repositioning is changing customers' opinions about an existing brand. It addresses the identity of the brand. The brand name. Instead, it shows the new direction in. It speaks of the new segment of trying to capture. It tries to change what customers they see or hear about the brand and also. Repositioning does not alter most. The only thing that undergoes is the tagline. The brand says it offers to its customers. Its personality undergoes a transformation. Sometimes the identity can be refreshed and reinvented to help with the repositioning. Most of these are internal changes. An excellent example of a brand that has gone through repositioning while keeping its legacy name is Old Spice. On the other hand, rebranding is mostly outward. It can change the brand name itself. It can alter the logo and overall aesthetics. It can also change popular misconceptions about the brand. It focuses on the entire brand image. Rebranding can thus change the entire brand identity itself. Sometimes a company can undergo both rebranding and repositioning together. They can be done individually as well.
So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on brand building. Do subscribe to our channel where you'll witness such videos daily. Thank you and stay tuned for more videos.